You already know the basics. That is the problem. You know you should save. You know debt is dangerous. You know compound interest is powerful. Lifestyle creep is real, and emergency funds matter. You know all of it. You learned some of it in passing, picked up the rest from articles, and that one conversation at a dinner party where someone explained index funds for 20 minutes. You know. And yet, right now, your bank account does not reflect what you know. That gap between what you know and what you actually do is the most expensive gap in your entire financial life. Alex knows this feeling perfectly. He is an IT freelancer, 32 years old, smart, making around $6,500 a month. He can explain dollar cost averaging. He knows the 50-30-20 rule by heart. And still, at the end of every month, something happens to his money. It moves. It disappears into $150 worth of forgotten software subscriptions, expensive gear he bought because he was tired, and credit card minimums that never seem to shrink. He knows what he should do. He just does not do it. Elena went to the same high school as Alex. She makes a completely modest, fixed income of $3,200 a month as a school teacher. She has never read a single book about investing. But at 34, her debt is gone. Her accounts are growing, and she has $12,000 cash sitting in a high-yield savings account. Not because she is smarter. Not because she earns more. Because a long time ago, she realized that knowing things is useless without a system. She took 50 foundational rules and built them into her life until they ran without her. This video covers the first 50 rules of a massive blueprint, not as a list, not as a quiz, but as the thing nobody told you in school, delivered with real numbers and a real look at what happens when you actually live it. This is part 1. In the next video, we will break down the remaining 50 rules for investing and scaling. Let us start with the immediate leaks, the quiet drains. Rule 1. Most financial problems are not income problems. They are leak problems. A leak is any recurring expense that does not align with your actual values, not the expense itself. Fast food is not inherently a leak. But the gap between what you say matters and what your money says matters. Rule 2. Food spending is the most common leak category for people under 40. Not because food is expensive, but because convenience food is emotionally triggered. Rule 3. Decision fatigue is real and it costs money. The more decisions you make throughout the day, the worse your financial decisions become toward the end of it. This is why people overspend in the evening. Rule 4. Meal planning is a financial strategy, not a lifestyle preference. It eliminates the moment of food decision-making when you are tired and hungry. Rule 5. Transportation is the second most common leak category. Not just the car payment, but the invisible costs. Maintenance deferred until it becomes a $1,200 repair, parking, and premium gas choices you don't actually need. Rule 6. Lifestyle creep is the tax nobody tells you about when you get a raise. Last year's normal becomes this year's baseline. This year's raise becomes next year's expectation. Rule 7. When you get a raise, before you change a single spending behavior, redirect at least 50% of the increase to savings or debt. Let the other half improve your life. Rule 8. Clothing is a leak for many people because shopping is emotional. Retail therapy is not a metaphor. Purchasing activates reward circuits in your brain. Notice when you are shopping as coping versus shopping as need. Rule 9. Audit your recurring annual expenses. Divide your annual car registration, insurance renewals, and holiday spending by 12 and account for them monthly. Rule 10. Your home is where your biggest financial decisions live. The way you heat it, the appliances you run, the subscriptions tied to your address. Energy efficiency is a financial strategy that reduces a fixed-like expense over time. Let's stop right here and look at the scoreboard. By Rule 10, Elena had already opened her bank app, run these exact numbers, and identified $180 per month in unnecessary spending and bloated utility plans. She cut them in 20 minutes. Alex, making twice as much money, still hadn't checked his subscription tab because looking at the dashboard made his stomach turn. He told himself he'd do it over the weekend. He didn't. Now let us talk about the biology behind this. Your brain. Rule 11. Your brain was not built for money. It was built for survival. Human beings do not make financial choices based on logic. We make them based on fear, comfort, social comparison, and the immediate pull of now over later. Rule 12. Every financial decision you make is emotional first, rational second. You tell yourself a logical story after the choice has already happened in the emotional part of your brain. Rule 13. The first financial skill is not saving or budgeting. It is awareness. Most people who think they have a spending problem actually have an awareness problem. They genuinely do not know where the dollars go. Rule 14. Looking at your money is not stressful. Not looking at it is stressful. The anxiety comes from the unknown. When you look, you have power. Rule 15. Your income is not your problem. Behavior is your problem. Data shows that a massive share of lottery winners end up bankrupt within a few years. More money flowing into a broken system just breaks faster. Rule 16. Every financial behavior you have is a habit. You do not rise to the level of your financial goals. You fall to the level of your financial systems. Rule 17. The most powerful financial tool you have is your calendar. Money moves on time. The people who win put financial decisions on a schedule and follow it regardless of how they feel. Rule 18. You are going to have months where you fail. Plan for that. Build a system that survives imperfect months because there are no perfect months. Rule 19. Do not wait until you have more money to start. The habit of saving $50 a month at age 22 is worth more neurologically than trying to save $500 a month at 42 without the habit. Rule 20. Your relationship with money was formed before you were 10 years old. The emotional charge around checking your balance was encoded in childhood. You cannot change what you do not see. Here is how this biology played out. Elena's Sunday meal prep reduced her food spending from $520 to $340 a month, saving her $180 every single month because she bypassed her evening decision fatigue. Alex, on the other hand, hit a wall of exhaustion on Tuesday night, ordered a $45 premium sushi delivery, and automated absolutely nothing. He spent more on dinner in one night than Elena spent on groceries for the week. Now the machine that everything runs through, your budget. Rule 21. A budget is not a punishment. It is a map. The reason most budgets fail is that people build budgets that are aspirational rather than honest. They write down what they wish they spent, not what they actually spend. Rule 22. Your first budget should describe what is already happening. Spend 1 month writing down every single coffee, subscription, and spontaneous purchase. Not to shame yourself, but to see the territory. Rule 23. The 50-30-20 rule is a starting framework, not a law. 50% on needs, 30 on wants, 20 on savings and debt. Rule 24. The most important number in your budget is the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the engine of everything. Widen it, and your life changes. Rule 25. Do not try to cut everything at once. Pick one leak to plug per month. People who try to overhaul their entire financial behavior all at once almost universally revert by day 14. Rule 26. Fixed expenses are easier to manage than variable ones. Your rent is fixed, Your groceries are variable. Most spending problems live in the variable category because it is invisible until the card declines. Rule 27. The subscription economy was designed to exploit your psychology. Small recurring charges of $9 or $14 are below the threshold of pain. They feel like nothing until you realize they add up to $200 a month. Rule 28. Do a subscription audit every 6 months. Go through every recurring charge on every card. Cancel anything you have not used in the past 30 days. Rule 29. Round up every fixed estimate when building your budget. If your electric bill is usually $80, budget $95. The gap becomes a small silent buffer. Rule 30. A zero-based budget, where every single dollar is assigned a specific job before the month starts, is the most effective way to keep money from slipping through the cracks. Let's look at the actual spreadsheets. Alex finally forced himself to list his real numbers. He discovered he was spending $240 a month on software tools he hadn't opened since January. He canceled them immediately, instantly freeing up nearly $3,000 a year. Elena didn't need to cancel anything. Her zero-based notebook budget was so precise she knew exactly how much she could spend on her $4 Friday latte without guessing. Now we focus on defense, saving. Rule 31. If you save what is left after spending, you will never save. There is always something left to spend money on. You must move the money before you can see it. Rule 32. Pay yourself first. Save before you pay a single bill. Even if it is $20, the habit of moving the money first wires your brain to live on less. Rule 33. Automate the saving. Set up an automatic transfer to execute the exact day after your paycheck lands and let it move without your permission or willpower. Rule 34. Start with just 1% of your income if you are struggling. Increase it by 1% every 3 months. You won't feel a 1% drop, but the compounding effect will shock you. Rule 35. Your emergency fund is the foundation of your financial sanity. You need 3 to 6 months of essential survival expenses sitting in a separate account untouched. Rule 36. Define an emergency in writing before one happens. A car transmission failure is an emergency. A 48-hour flash sale on flight tickets is not. Rule 37. A standard savings account is costing you money. Use a high-yield savings account, HYSEA, so your emergency fund actually grows against inflation while it sits there. Rule 38. Keep your emergency fund at a completely different bank than your daily checking account. The 24-hour friction required to transfer the money protects you from your own impulses. Rule 39. Saving feels like a loss to your brain due to loss aversion. To counter this, rename the account. Naming it Freedom Fund or Safety Net changes the psychological relationship. Rule 40. The goal of saving is not to accumulate a stack of paper. It is to buy options. Every $1,000 in savings is a future choice you haven't been forced to compromise on yet. The systems are now running. Elena had her automated transfer set to move $400 every single month directly into a high-yield savings account. It was invisible to her. Alex tried to do it manually. He managed to save $500 in March, skipped April because a tech sale caught his eye, and by May his savings balance was exactly zero because it was sitting in his primary checking account, looking available. Finally, the weight of the past. Debt. Rule 41. Not all debt is equal. Consumer credit card debt at 20% interest is a financial emergency. A low-interest mortgage on an appreciating asset is a structured liability. Rule 42. High-interest consumer debt is the single fastest destroyer of wealth. A credit card with a 22% APR is a house on fire. It eats your future before you even live it. Rule 43. Minimum payments are mathematically engineered to keep you trapped for decades. Paying only the minimum on a $6,000 balance means you will pay thousands extra in pure interest. Rule 44. Choose your weapon. The avalanche method pays the highest interest first to save the most money. The snowball method pays the smallest balance first to give your brain a fast psychological win. Pick one and lock it in. Rule 45. Every dollar you put toward a 20% interest credit card is a guaranteed 20% return on your money. No standard investment portfolio can reliably beat that. Rule 46. You cannot attack what you refuse to count. Create a total debt inventory. Write down every balance, every interest rate, and every minimum payment on a single sheet of paper. Rule 47. Your credit score is determined largely by two massive numbers: payment history and your credit utilization ratio. Keep your balances below 30% of your total limit. Rule 48. Do not close old credit accounts if they don't have an annual fee. The length and age of your credit history directly stabilize your score. Rule 49. If you are actively digging out of debt, your credit card is no longer your emergency plan. It is the thing that makes emergencies twice as expensive. Rule 50. Celebrate the elimination of a debt balance without spending money to do it. When you close an account, redirect that exact minimum payment amount into your next target. Here is the final baseline for Part 1. Elena took her written inventory, used the snowball method, and completely wiped out her last $2,200 student loan balance, freeing up $150 a month in cash flow. Alex finally faced his numbers and realized he owed $8,400 across two cards, costing him $160 a month just in pure wasted interest. For the first time, he stopped looking for a magic investment and realized his credit cards were his biggest leak. A year after starting to look at these foundational blocks, Alex was not rich, but he was completely different. By implementing his new strategies, he aggressively reduced his debt from $8,400 to $5,100. More importantly, he secured his present. Alex built a rock-solid $2,000 emergency fund sitting completely isolated in a high-yield account. He stopped spending like every freelancing month would be a $6,500 month. He started setting aside 30% for taxes before he touched a single dollar. Elena's life felt completely light. Her automatic transfers had quietly pushed her emergency fund, crossed the $12,000 mark. Her student debt was history. Her system ran without her checking it more than once a week. Alex knew a lot before Elena did. But Elena started using what she knew sooner. She won because she built simple systems that worked even when she was tired. And when you strip away the spreadsheets, the high-yield accounts, the automated transfers, and the dynamic budgeting rules, you find the core truth of personal finance. The ultimate difference between Alex and Elena was never intelligence. It was never income. It was never luck. It was simply what happened on ordinary Tuesdays when nobody was watching. It was the choice to look at the numbers when the numbers hurt. It was the automated transfer that executed quietly at 2 a.m. while they were both asleep. It was the decision to treat financial stability as a tangible system rather than a vague, distant wish. You now have the first 50 rules of the territory. The map is completely clear, the numbers are on the table, and the math is entirely in your favor. But a map has never moved a single foot forward on its own. Information does not shift your net worth. Execution does. Do not close this window and promise yourself that you will get serious on Monday morning. Monday morning is a fiction. Pick one single leak from these first 50 rules. Open your dashboard right now and shut it down. Move $20 into a separate account. Face one balance you've been actively avoiding. If you want to understand money in a simple way, without confusion or hype, subscribe. We talk about money in a way regular people can actually use so you can make better decisions with what you have and build a life with more breathing room. Change the machine on an ordinary Tuesday and watch your future freedom expand. This is the end of part 1. In the next video, we shift from defense to offense. We will cover scaling your income, automated investing, and closing the execution gap completely. Pick one tip, turn it into action, and we will see you in part 2.